All right, I got a tip for you guys today, and I think it's pretty good. So if you're like me, and you're kind of just getting sick of the way people are acting, who aren't from here, and they have different cultures, different religions, whatever, you know what I'm saying, and you're kind of just getting sick of our tyrant oligarchy, the people who are in control of our nation, basically obsessively fixating on erasing the founding stock of this nation and everything that it stands for, all the things that these people really cared about. There is actually a way for you to be the culture without being too aggressive, without being too rude, I guess. And here's what I recommend. You have to be the culture. Okay, nobody else is going to do it but the people who are on the ground. People who with flesh and blood in real life running around with their two little feet. And so the only real way to do that is to present them with the things that matter to our nation's spirit. And what would that be? Christianity, ostensibly. If you notice this, the Muslims actually, the reason that they don't like America isn't so much because we're not Christian, or they don't like America because we're Christian. They don't like America because we're not Christian enough. They would respect us a lot more if people were more Christian. So what does it mean to be a Christian? What like acting like a Christian? What does that mean? Because we all know what it means to act like a Muslim. You see the hijabs everywhere. You see people, they don't speak English. They speak their own language. They're not interested in learning anything about our people. They don't care about us. And so that's how they act, right? So they're asserting dominance over you in this way. And the only real way to combat that is to just make them uncomfortable being in our home. Because you shouldn't be that comfortable in our home. You shouldn't be stomping on the foundational qualities of what make us a people. So here's what I recommend. There is such a thing called the sign of the cross. All right. Now it's predominantly in Catholic and Eastern Orthodox denominations of Christianity. But even if you're not Catholic, even if you're not Orthodox, if you're not Christian at all, you should still do this, because it's not going to hurt anybody. It'll only help you. And so here is just forehead down to the tum-tum, left to right. Well, I guess if you're Greek Orthodox, you do it like this, right? Because that stands for the Father, Son, Holy Spirit, and then the two pointing back at you is to represent the energies of Christ, energy and essence of Christ. And so they do it like this, and so it's the other way. But either way, whatever's clever. Just figure out a way to do it that feels comfortable, I guess, to you. But every time you see someone who's acting Muslim in public, you should do this. And it's not to be an asshole. It's to plant your foot down and say, we're not going to step back and let you have this place. This is our home and you can't have it. Okay? You can stay here for a little while, but this whole thing where you are changing the face of our nation, that is absolutely inappropriate. And you should feel uncomfortable here. You should feel uncomfortable until you become a Christian or until you leave. That's how it really should be. That's how it always was, is that you have to be acting like an American. And since everybody wants to act like America is just a collection of ideas that differs between person to person, it's been really hard for people to understand what it means to be an American. Well, I'll tell you, it's simple things like this. Simple things. Put it in their face, because they have no problem putting theirs in yours, okay? There's nothing anti-Christian about throwing that right in their face. This is what our people are. That's what we are. We stand for Christ here. Okay? We're not celebrating Diwali. We're not celebrating Hanukkah. We are Christians. Okay? And even if you're not a Christian, if you're an American and you care at all about the fabric of our society, you need to start doing stuff like this. You know what I'm saying? Like this is absolutely inappropriate, the way people stomp on our flag, they stomp on our cross, they stomp on everything that we hold sacred, and then they act like they're the victims and that we need to be more patient with them. No, you don't need to be more patient with them. You need to pray for them. You need to hope that they can convert. You need to hope that they can change the way that they think. But it's not your responsibility to let invasions happen without doing something about it. And since we're not allowed to do anything physical, I wouldn't call for violence. But since that's totally off the table, we have to find other ways to be the culture, because they have their ways. Here's our way. So there's my little message. There's my advice for anybody who's just getting sick of the invasion happening while every single leader in our country just stands by and thinks it's funny and they cheer it on and they're like, oh, I don't even care because they're rich. They don't have to deal with this. They don't have to go and deal with things that are free out in society that are now flooded with other people. And now we live in Star Wars. Normal people have to live in Star Wars now. They don't care about that. They got mansions. They're in their gated communities. But we're people. We're real people with real flesh and blood. We're not lizard people. Okay? And so for us, it actually does matter. So this is how you stand up for the culture. Little things like this. So I hope maybe this was helpful. And I hope if an atheist starts doing this, that it has some sort of like maybe a hypnotic effect. You know, maybe I can like brainwash you out of your dirty brain state, maybe by just doing little things like this. You know, it's very simple, and it shows you that you give a damn about us, okay? Because we need that now. There's just such a lack of people who actually care. So thank you for listening. Anyway, more content coming soon. Thank you to all my supporters. I appreciate everything. Y'all have a good one. God bless you all.